Hey yo, how's everybody doing today? It is Wednesday, July 16th. The markets are green. There's a lot of exciting stuff taking place right now. I know I'm on a little bit early. I've got spaces in 30 minutes and another one after that. And then Julie does her live stream. So wanted to get on a little bit early so we can cover some things today. Guys, there's a lot happening right now. Stablecoin bill moving forward. We have a Jamie Dimon changing his stance on crypto. There's more rumors about Jay Powell being let go, being fired. We're going to talk about what's going on there. A trade deal was made. DePIN's in the news. Guys, so much stuff to cover. We're going to get through it. We got about 30 minutes before I have to hop on this space, but we're going to cover it all. The first thing, though, I want to cover, I brought up this story yesterday. There's some more details. I dove in a little bit deeper yesterday after I was on for my live stream. Of course, I'm talking about the 80,000 Bitcoin that got moved and how they're talking about how it might have been an exploit of old wallets. And they went on to cite all this evidence that the wallets might have been compromised. In particular, one of the things they showed is these transactions to the wallets, people claiming that they're going to take legal custody of the funds in these wallets. They even had this website on the Solomon brothers that claimed that they were going to take ownership of it if it was an abandoned wallet. I dug in further on this, and it seems that there are scammers that made this website, and they are sending transactions to these wallets as a way to try to get the owner of the wallets to give them the private keys. Okay, so as it turns out, it probably was a false alarm, most likely. What's weird, though, still, I think, is the timing of these messages happened on 6/30, so June 30th. Just a few days later, the owner moved all of those funds for the first time in 14 years. Okay, so I don't know if they got spooked because of this or what caused them to move those funds, but we do know that the funds were moved. In fact, it looks like just last night they moved 40,000 of those over to Galaxy Digital. So this was yesterday morning, actually, that they started moving those funds over. So it's unclear whether they are then selling it over there, whether they're trying to get a return on the Bitcoin by holding it with Galaxy Digital. No one knows exactly. But it says that on July 4th, 80,000 Bitcoin woke up for the first time. They moved 40,000 over to Galaxy Digital. The rest is split across 4 addresses evenly. So no one knows who the Bitcoin whale is. There's speculation that it could be Roger Ver, it could be Satoshi himself, the CIA. Nobody knows who owns the funds, but this has awakened people to the potential of a quantum attack on some of the older wallets. So that is the big news here, I think, is that they are looking at potentially locking the old funds, guys. So that is a big deal. They says that the cryptography has never faced an existential threat. Still doesn't, but could target early wallets. There's the new Bitcoin proposal that aims to freeze coins secured by legacy cryptography to protect against future quantum computer threats. So basically what they would do is introduce a phased soft fork that would turn quantum migration into a ticking clock. If you fail to upgrade and your coins become unspendable. So that's not saying this is going to pass, but it is saying that people are starting to think about this because it is a potential threat. Okay. And that's the big thing there. I realized when I was going through here, I wasn't sharing these new screens. So it says that Roger Ver, CIA, Satoshi could be the ones that own it. Talks about, again, the 40,000 that was transferred. And here it talks about this fake website. So wanted to update everybody on that. So that's good news. That's good news. But it is also good, I think, that people are starting to think about what could potentially take place in the future. We can start planning for that. I'm going to touch real quickly on the Epstein thing. Guys, it's just the main things is not going away. And I think there's a lot of people, Trump's losing a lot of support over this. And there's the time that was missing on this video that they released. And this is I bring this up, okay, because when Pam Bondi was asked about this is what she had to say about it, about the missing time on this.
On that, and the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that.
Yeah. So yeah, the camera had a Y2K bug. I mean, come on. So it turns out there's actually 3 minutes cut out. They looked at the metadata on the video, and there's actually 2 minutes and 53 seconds missing. Okay, so obviously that was inaccurate. And then Trump kind of went off the rails in this tweet here, talking about how the files are fake. Goes on to talk about how the new scam now is that we'll forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And he says, my past supporters, so the people that are now being critical of this, have bought into this BS, hook, line, and sinker, whatever. Anyway, the main story here is it's not going away, guys. It's not going away. People want to know. And I think that people deserve to know, personally. Okay. Like there are a lot of victims there. And I think people should be held accountable. All right, let's move on. There was a big move in gold earlier today. Let me find this tab real quick. And a lot of this has to do with something we talked about yesterday, which is the talks about Powell being fired again. So it says there are some reports from the White House that Trump is likely going to fire Jerome Powell. Okay. Again, we talked about this yesterday. Like, even if he wants to, he can't legally. Okay. And Bessent came out in his interview yesterday morning and said he's not going to. These reports were flying all over the place, though. And then, not long ago, like maybe a couple of 8 minutes ago, Trump says he's highly unlikely to fire Jerome Powell. Okay. But there's something here that I did not realize before. Okay. And I want to dig in a little bit here, what's going on. He said, we're not planning on it. I don't rule anything out, but I think it's highly unlikely unless he has to leave for fraud. Okay, so what could that possibly be? Well, let's play this video, and I'll tell you exactly what that's about.
I'm completely ruling out the idea of firing Jerome Powell.
I don't rule out anything, but I think it's highly unlikely unless he has to leave for fraud. I mean, it's possible there's fraud involved with the $2.7 billion renovation. This is a renovation. How do you spend $2.7 billion? And he didn't have proper clearance, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's.
So this is interesting. I was watching this in June live when they had Powell testifying, and they asked him about this. And I was like, that's really weird that they're making such a big stink about these upgrades, these renovations to the building. I'm going to play this clip for you. And I thought this was really weird because I watched this live. And it seems that I think what happened is Trump realized, okay, I can't fire him. We need to find something to charge him with so that I can fire him. And I think that's what they're trying to do here. Here's how Jerome Powell answered this question live, though, when he was asked about it. Again, this is not long ago, back in June.
Would you talk a little bit about just exactly what's going on with your building when you have that type of an overrun on the prices and you're talking about billions of dollars in costs? I think it's appropriate for you to be able to explain to the committee exactly what's going on. Would you take a few minutes, please, and explain what's going on with the value of that building and why the costs seem to be so exorbitant?
I'd be glad to if I can have that time. So
please.
Thank you for the letter we received late yesterday. We will provide a much more detailed response, but just generally, I would just say we do take seriously our responsibility as stewards of the public's money. And the other thing I would start with is no one in office wants to do a major renovation of a historic building during their term in office. You much prefer to leave that to your successors. And this is a great example why, let alone two historic buildings that needed a lot of work. But we decided to take it on because, honestly, when I was the administrative governor before I became chair, I came to understand how badly the Eccles building really needed a serious renovation. It never had one. It was not really safe, and it was not waterproof and that kind of thing. So we took it on. I would start by, I would also say that the media reports that you accurately quoted, they're misleading and inaccurate in many, many respects. And I would just point to, there's no VPI dining room. There's no new marble. We took down the old marble. We're putting it back up. We'll have to use new marble where some of the old marble broke, but there's no new, there are no special elevators. They're old elevators that have been there. There are no new water features. There's no beehives, and there's no roof terrace gardens. Other than that, so all of the sort of inflammatory things that the media carried are either not in the current plan or just inaccurate.
So they are. This is a witch hunt, guys. I really do think so. I think they're trying to get him on something. The media is putting out some BS articles, and people are starting to get behind this. But I think it's all because they are trying to get rid of him, but I don't think they can legally. So very, very interesting stuff there. Jerome Powell, man, it's as if his job wasn't hard enough already. Now he's got to worry about this stuff. All right, some other news. This is kind of cool. Trump is planning to expand 401k access to private equity under new executive order. It goes on to say that enables plan sponsors to include private assets such as private equity, real estate, venture capital, hedge funds, etc. under the retirement plans. This move could significantly broaden investor access to alternative assets, which have traditionally been limited to institutional and accredited investors due to their illiquidity and complete risk and complex risk profiles. I think this is really interesting because back, whenever I've had 401ks, I've always done like the match, but I don't really go above and beyond that because they have really limited options. Like I would really, generally I like to have more options for investments. This is a game changer though, especially with some of the Roth 401k options out there. So this is going to vastly expand your options in your 401k. So that's pretty cool. One other thing I want to cover before we get into crypto. There was a deal struck, it sounds like, or at least it's close, with Indonesia. Okay, so last week they threatened Indonesia with a 32% tariff in the letter. Well, sounds like we are now at 19%. So they did drop it. It does say that Indonesia is a top 25 trade partner. And here's the terms. Now, Indonesia said that the conversation went well. They haven't confirmed these details yet. So I want to make sure that's clear. They said that we will pay no tariffs, that the U.S., that is. So they're giving us access into Indonesia, which we have never had. And that's probably the biggest part of the deal. The other part is that they're going to pay 19%. So it also says, and I guess in his Truth Social post, he went on to say that they've committed to purchasing $15 billion in U.S. energy, $4.5 billion in ag products, and 50 Boeing jets. All right. Well, if that is true, that's a win. Okay, that's definitely a win. Let's hope that the rest of the trade negotiations go the same way. All right, let's talk about some crypto. Some crypto bills. If you all remember, as I was on the live stream yesterday, it did not move forward for a vote. And we're like, what is going on here? Why not? Well, it sounds like they have gotten their shit together. So let's watch this.
I guess rumblings that maybe the votes weren't there, and then the president met with some individuals yesterday. Are you confident now it's the votes are there?
I believe that we do have the votes to advance the Senate Genius Act, which will create the first federally regulated, with clear rules, dollar-backed payment stablecoin, which will unleash a new competitive round in how payments are done when they're used in a blockchain application. We also have the House's work on market structure, which we've worked through the House Ag Committee and the House Financial Services Committee. Strong bipartisan support for that bill. And then finally, Whip Tom Emmer of Minnesota. Mr. Emmer has his bill that blocks the federal government from creating a central bank digital currency through the Fed unless it's done with a specific authorization through Congress. So I believe that the House has the votes for those three measures, and the Speaker is working this morning on how they'll be coordinated and presented to the House for consideration.
Let's go. And as Williams said, circle is climbing. Guys, get ready. Get ready. We're going to see more of these companies go public. There's no doubt about it. Strike while the iron's hot. We talked about an article over there. Someone was quoted saying that actually, that they're going to see a lot more of these coming public here in probably the next few months. Wow, what a day! What a day! I did see this. It looks like it did move forward as House Resolution 580 is adopted. Look at that! Hey! Think about how much money's going to come in. Guess what else? Jim Cramer. God, I hate when he talks most of the time because everything opposite of what he says ends up happening. But in this case, he might actually be right.
And like Jamie Dimon today about private equity, he criticized. I mean, I wish, I don't know. You know how there are these sites, the site that talks about what events are going to occur. I'd like to go. I'd like to be the bookie on when he does a lot of crypto. He'll go all in crypto.
He'll go all in on crypto. Jamie Dimon, Mr. Crypto's Pet Rocks, Jamie Dimon. Well. Jamie Dimon says JP Morgan Chase will get involved in stablecoins as fintech threat looms. What do you know? This was from this morning. Or actually, I guess it was yesterday morning. Says that JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon, says he doesn't get the appeal of stablecoins, but he can't afford to stay on the sidelines. No shit, buddy. All the banks should have to get in on this. He said, these guys are very smart. They're trying to figure out a way to create bank accounts to get into payment systems and rewards programs, and we have to be cognizant of that. And the way to be cognizant is to be involved. Yes, sir. You're right about that. And he said that stablecoins are potentially faster and cheaper. Not even potentially. They are a faster and cheaper form of payment over traditional banking rails like ACH and SWIFT. ACH is archaic, guys. Like the fact that we've been on using ACH for like 40 years is ridiculous. It is time. But guess where they're all building? Where are the institutions building? Ethereum, baby. Ethereum. Look at that. Ethereum on the run, 32.91. I think we have a long way to go. Whether it's Ethereum, whether it's layer 2s on Ethereum, that is where the institutional interest is right now. It's where the stablecoins are being built. I think we have a lot of room to run here, guys. If you look at Bitcoin against Ethereum, in fact, Ethereum is breaking out right now. But this is great to see. This is really good to see when you think about altcoins in general. Okay, and Ethereum. Earlier this year, everyone's like, Ethereum's dead. I don't know why anyone wants to hold Ethereum. Ethereum's like, check out my talent. And it reminded me of this video. This is Ethereum right here.
10 after 327 women rated me. Let's see your talent.
Let's see your
talent, you ugly piece of.
Okay, stop. Hey, look at me.
Let's
look
see
at
your
me.
talent.
No, hey. No, you need to look at me.
Let's see your talent. That's Ethereum. Ethereum is out here. That is Ethereum's talent. Let's look at the total market cap, though, excluding Ethereum, Bitcoin, and stable coins. Guys, we talked about how there was this resistance level that we broke through, and we are now climbing. Things are looking great. And when you look at Bitcoin dominance, this is what we want to see for alts. We want to see Bitcoin dominance dropping. We're seeing the move now. So a beautiful sight to behold. And the crypto bubbles. Look at all the green here. That's amazing. Of course, these are the DePIN projects. Man, Demo's been running. Arweave's been running. Helium, all of them. Okay, this is on the week. Look on the day, on the hour. Nasana pumped pretty hard yesterday after the Exhibits announcement. I covered that. But let's take a look at the overall situation with some altcoins here. Everything is moving in a major way. Still, the larger caps are moving more than most of the smaller caps. I expect that will start to shift as we get further into this move for alts. Very exciting stuff. In fact, if you look at the week, let's look at the hourly on this. Everything's green. Everything's green. We love to see it. Let's talk a little bit here about DePIN. And William, I'm going to give you a shout out here, buddy. Hope you're still here. Let's see what we got. Guys, I'm getting a little bit of love on this helium video I put up here. In fact, getting some love from DePIN Digest. Follow DePIN Digest. Guys, if you don't already, Guess who put out some videos on here? Our boy William's on there giving us DePIN updates. So give DePIN Digest a follow. Give me some love on this post talking about how helium could become deflationary. Very exciting stuff there. I covered that on a live stream the other day, and then posting as a separate post there. But the helium account gave it some love as well. That would be super exciting to see helium go fully deflationary on emissions. The other thing, Rover posted this, guys. I posted my interview with Rover last night, so give that a watch if you haven't already. That project has some legs, and here's the video right here. So give that a watch. That's their founder, Guang, down there, and then Chris is one of their newer members who has a ton of experience in mapping. Looking at the Rover token, though, and I've been talking about this a lot recently, because they haven't started unlocks to their employees and investors yet, the token float is super low, and the market cap on this thing is 1.192 million. Okay, these are kind of the opportunities I look for, especially when I'm trying to find something that can do a lot of multiples. If we do see a run up here in the short term, rather, these are the types of projects with low circulating supply that can really run. And I think Rover has a lot of good things going for them. Watch that interview, guys. Like they already have proof of concepts. They're collecting LiDAR data. That's being used to train models for autonomous vehicles. They are also partnered with GeoNet. Speaking of GeoNet, guys, GeoNet was mentioned on national TV over in France. I think it was yesterday. People asking about GeoNet on there. And this is wild. MSN came out with an article. What is DePIN? Talking about what DePIN networks are. And guess what project they highlighted? Use case GeoNet. GeoNet is being highlighted all over the place. This is absolutely incredible. Super, super exciting. It's like, guys, it's coming. The time is coming for DePIN. It is indeed.
I'm going to come.
That's DePIN. DePIN is going to come. All right, guys. What else we got here? Oh, let's look at the GeoNet price. 18.6 cents. Whew. That's a pretty healthy chart over the last week. It is just churning up, and they are doing such big things. Love to see it. Love to see it. What else we got here? Guys, this is the space that I'm going to hop to in like 2 minutes. So if you don't follow Liz, give her a follow. We're going to be talking about the future of Web3. So I'll be joining as a speaker at the top of the hour here. And then give another shout out to William here, who hosts the DABA Deep in DePIN. So after that, that's the one I'm hopping to in 3 minutes. And then at the next top of the hour, I'll be hopping over to this space. So we'll be covering, look at that lineup. Wow. Look at that. I don't even know if I'm going to have the ability to speak on there. That's a lot of people. There's some big names on there. Love it. Love to see it. So guys, that's all I got for you today. We'll be back with more tomorrow. Big things happening across the space. Love to see it. Watch out for those. There's so many accounts right now. By the way, I'm going to leave you with this. Talking about the next 50x, the next 100x, this and that, and all. They weren't here for the last 7 months. They disappeared. They're back from their vacation now that the market's green again, and they're pumping their tokens, hoping to use exit liquidity. Be careful with those people, y'all. Stay rooted to reality. We're getting to that point where everyone's a genius in the market, but you gotta keep your feet on the ground, touch some grass, watch out for those. I guess they call them KOLs now, whatever. Watch out for those ones that were missing in action. You're on the milk carton for the last 7 months, and all of a sudden they're back. Like, oh, guys, I have the next 1,000 next for you. Yeah, okay, buddy. Okay. I appreciate you all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.